Good blessed Tuesday, March the 14th, 2023. The time being 7:40 a.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace. And the blessings of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter whether you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me or anything that I say or do. That's your prerogative. You have constitutional rights to the United States, such as the 1st, 4th, 5th, 14th, and so on. You have those rights to speak as you please, to gather as you please, to associate who you please to associate with, as long as you do everything in a peaceful and a certain respectful manner. Today what I want to speak about is my first. To the right is my first and only son, Brian Lamont Johns, may he rest in peace. To the left is my first and only wife, Marisol Rodriguez. May she rest in peace. The reason why I got king and a crown there, because there's no question or doubt that I am a king by birth. My son, Brian Lamont Johns, whether he knew it or not, he was a king by birth. Marisol Rodriguez, who once was Ivy, some people didn't like her to have her name Ivy, but that was her choice. It wasn't no force. But she didn't know that she was a queen. You know, God allowed both of them to be in my life for a reason, in a season. You see, the enemy didn't like the knowledge that I gave them. The enemy didn't like the change that I aided and assisted. They made the change on their own. The enemy didn't like it. And the enemy is not sometimes just non-blood. Sometimes enemy is the blood. You see, Brian thought that he had a lot of friends. You see what I'm saying? Marisol thought she had a lot of friends. You see, but when things was good, the friends is all good. Especially if they can find them in their weakness where they can spend money on things that's not good for their health. But both of them was grown. When things got bad, when I pop at places where they needed a person or a friend or a family to be, I didn't see nobody waiting in line at the jailhouses. I didn't see nobody waiting in line with me at the courthouses. I didn't see these friends in line when they was stranded places and trouble was in their way. I didn't see them. I didn't see them when they were sick. I didn't see them. I didn't see their friends, that is. But my point is, you know, both of them was something first in my life. As I said, my son Brian was my first son. Marisol was my first and only wife. Brian was my first and only son. But it's something else about both of their deaths that the authorities, without a doubt or contradiction, ruled wrong. You see what I'm saying? Their death should have been ruled homicide. I know this here for a fact. I know the enemies that was giving Marisol and Brian things that wasn't good for them. I seen enemies that was leading them in paths that they shouldn't go in. But one thing about it, those enemies, God know who y'all are in Carbondale, Illinois. Some of y'all in Chicago that call y'all self his friends. I wonder how many times y'all been to the cemetery since his death. And what's so sad about Marisol, my two youngest daughters that'll be 17 and 18 in July wanted a relationship with her. But sometimes family and friends would draw a marriage away from each other. You see what I'm saying? I had to do like God told Lot to do when he gave him instructions about his wife and his children, his two daughters. Don't look back. You see what I'm saying? No matter what, don't look back. But I did look back a few times, and God allowed me to bring both of them out of the valley of the shadow of death quite a few times. But then God told me, it's their turn. It's their turn to make the decision. It's not that they was bad persons. It was their people, places, and things. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all running around acting like you love Brian. You love Marisol. But it's maybe about 2 or 3 people, maybe 3 people, 2 of them at the Samaritan house and another female that used to be at a homeless shelter that actually communicate with me about Brian. Don't nobody else there, especially this guy that called himself Michael Vallet, who said he was Brian's friend and he was trying to help him. But you don't see him on no campaign trying to find the murderers of Brian. All you see him is with Nancy Maxwell, a person who runs after money, trying to come up with all these different programs. Carbondale United. Now today on March the 14th, she'll be going down to Carbondale, Illinois, Jackson County's city council meeting, asking for more money. She says she needs 4 violent interrupters. Michael Vallet and another individual been to jail. Is 2 of the violent interrupters that she have now. She needs 4 of them to stop the violence in Carbondale, Illinois. How is she going to stop the violence in Carbondale, Illinois when you got Michael Vallet and his wife, Katie Vallet, or Katie Babcock, Babcock, is out there taking homeless people food stamps. Nancy Maxwell claimed to be, she was a police officer. She knew Michael Vallet and his wife committed these crimes, but yet who she working along with? The same criminal that used my son in his sickness, in his homelessness, and misused his cash that he had on his food stamp card in his food stamp. $234 worth of food stamps, $95 worth of cash. My son didn't know he was getting cash, but Michael Vallet and his wife did. They told the police that the detective, who didn't even document Michael Vallet's wife's statement, didn't even take her down to the police station. You know why? Because she had white privilege. Because all white detectives, and this is no harm meant or disrespect meant to any other white detectives or any other white people that do things that's right. All those investigated my son's death are crooks. The chief of police, if he don't look at the reports that they made, he ain't no different than them. But anyway, Michael Vallet and Nancy Maxwell, they are crooks. Ain't no way Nancy Maxwell can get 4 violent interrupters to stop the violence in Carbondale, Illinois. If that's the case, y'all don't need no police there. Now I'll tell you who can show you they don't need no violent interrupters. Mount Vernon, Illinois. They just gave 3 detectives awards for stopping the violence. Not with no grant money for us violent interrupters, Violent interrupters show you in Chicago that they couldn't stop no violence. It's just millions of dollars going to waste. But those of y'all that had something to do with my son, Brian Lamont death, and my two youngest daughters' mother death, God still see y'all. Peace be still.